The Nintendo Switch changed everything. In just a few years, it built one of the most impressive game libraries in gaming history. Today, I'm going through the 15 best games on the platform, games that genuinely stuck with me. Let's get into it. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 puts you in the shoes of Rex, a teenage salvager living on a world where the only land masses are the backs of giant creatures called Titans, floating on an endless ocean of clouds. Rex ends up bonded to a legendary blade named Pyra, and that kicks off a journey to find a paradise called Elysium. The combat is real-time, but layered. You auto-attack to charge arts, use arts to charge specials, chain them with your party, and pull off massive combo finishers. It takes hours before everything clicks, but once it does, fights feel genuinely satisfying. You also collect blades, which are weapon-like beings with their own personalities and skills that affect both combat and exploration. The world is massive and packed with side content. The story starts slow and gets wild by the end. It's unpolished in spots, but if you give it time, it pays off big.
I feel you. Yeah! Call the storm! Don't overdo it.
Astral Chain. You play as a cop in a near-future city overrun by interdimensional creatures called Chimera. The big twist is that you fight alongside a chained creature called a Legion, and that chain is the whole mechanic. You control yourself and your Legion at the same time, wrapping the chain around enemies to bind them, redirecting attacks, using the Legion to solve environmental puzzles, and switching between different Legion types that each have unique abilities. Combat feels like controlled chaos in the best way. The game also has detective sections where you investigate crime scenes, pick up clues, and question civilians. The city itself is dense and lived in, with side activities and collectibles tucked everywhere. Visually, it goes hard cel-shaded with a heavy anime influence and some of the cleanest action sequences Platinum has ever put out.
Damn! How are we supposed to fight something we can't even see? This is real bad. I don't know.
Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Kirby's first full 3D platformer on Switch takes the series into a mysterious post-apocalyptic world where nature has reclaimed a civilization that looks a lot like ours. Malls, stadiums, amusement parks, all abandoned and overgrown. You go through levels, sucking up enemies and copying their abilities, which has always been the core of Kirby, but the 3D space makes exploring feel fresh. The new Mouthful mode lets Kirby inhale giant real-world objects, cars, vending machines, traffic cones, and use them in specific ways to progress. It adds a layer of creativity to the puzzle design. Each world has hidden objectives beyond just finishing levels, and they push you to actually pay attention and explore. The boss fights ramp up nicely, and the final stretch genuinely surprised me. Animal Crossing: New Horizons. You wash up on a deserted island and slowly build it into your own little world, at your pace, on your terms. No pressure, no fail state, no rush. You plant flowers, catch bugs and fish, collect furniture, decorate your house, terraform the terrain, and hang out with a rotating cast of animal villagers that each have real personality. The game runs on actual real time, so seasons, events, and holidays reflect what's happening in the world around you. The daily loop is simple. Check in, do a few things, make slow progress. But that simplicity is exactly the point. It's one of the most genuinely relaxing games ever made, and during the period it launched early pandemic, it hit differently for a lot of people. The creative tools are deep enough for players who want to obsess over island design, and light enough for those who just want to water some flowers and talk to their favorite villager. The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. Link washes ashore on a strange island called Koholint, and to escape, he has to wake a mysterious creature sleeping at the island's core. The world is small compared to modern Zelda, but it's dense with secrets, interesting characters, and clever dungeons. You work through 8 dungeons, each with its own theme, puzzle logic, and boss. The Switch remake added a chamber dungeon system, where you rearrange collected dungeon rooms into custom layouts, which is a neat bonus. The art direction went with a toy box miniature look. Everything looks like it's sitting on a diorama, and it gives the whole game a dreamy, slightly unsettling atmosphere that fits the story perfectly. It's charming and occasionally eerie, and it lands emotionally harder than you'd expect from something this compact. If you never played the original, this is a perfect place to start. Metroid came back after 19 years and reminded everyone why people loved it. Samus is sent to planet ZDR to investigate a signal, gets ambushed, and wakes up deep underground with most of her gear gone. Making things worse, she's being hunted by MMI, indestructible robots that patrol specific zones and will tear her apart if they catch her. Those sections are legitimately tense. You can't fight them head on. You have to sneak, sprint, and pull off precise counters in tiny windows. Outside those zones, it's pure Metroid. Explore the map, collect power-ups, backtrack to places you couldn't reach before, and slowly build Samus back into the powerhouse she is. The parry system rewards aggressive play and makes combat feel crisp. Boss fights are demanding and satisfying when they click. The map design constantly flows you forward without it feeling forced. The atmosphere stays tight and oppressive throughout. Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. The world is built on the frozen bodies of two colossal beings, the Bionis and the Mechonis, and you play as Shulk, a young mechanic who discovers a legendary sword called the Monado, after his home is attacked and someone he loves is killed. What follows is a story about revenge that slowly becomes something far bigger and more layered than you see coming. Combat uses auto attacks to build cooldowns, arts for active abilities, and a vision system that lets you see and respond to incoming attacks before they happen. The world is enormous and genuinely beautiful to walk through, with a day-night system that changes which enemies appear and how characters interact. Side quests have actual context. The Definitive Edition adds a polished epilogue chapter and brings the visuals up to a level the Switch can be proud of. The story goes places that will actually catch you off guard. Fire Emblem: Three Houses. You play as Byleth, a mercenary who becomes a professor at a military academy split into three houses, each led by a different noble student with their own backstory and ambitions. The first half is about building your house, teaching students, strengthening relationships, going on missions, managing your limited free time in the monastery. Then the second half hits. The continent goes to war, and everything you built gets tested. Tactical combat is grid-based: position your units, manage weapon matchups, exploit weaknesses, and try to keep people alive. The decisions about who to teach and who to spend time with carry over into combat performance in ways that actually matter. Each house route tells the story from a different angle, with different revelations and different outcomes. Picking your house at the start genuinely shapes what kind of story you experience. Super Mario Bros. Wonder is a side-scroller built around the Wonder Flower, a collectible in each level that triggers a completely unpredictable transformation of the stage. Pipes sprout legs and chase you. The ground bounces like a trampoline. Hundreds of Goombas flood the screen. Mario morphs into a Goomba himself. No two Wonder sequences repeat, and you literally never know what you're walking into. Outside those moments, a badge system lets you equip a passive ability that changes your movement, floatier jumps, wall climbing, spring-loaded bouncing. New power-ups like Elephant Mario and the Bubble Flower expand your toolkit. 5-player online co-op is genuinely fun. Every world has a completely distinct visual identity, and the level variety never lets up. After years of new Super Mario Bros. Titles that played it safe, Wonder feels like Nintendo actually got excited about making a 2D Mario game again. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe launched on Switch as the complete version of the Wii U original. New battle modes, rebalanced items, extra characters, and then Nintendo kept adding to it, delivering 48 additional tracks through the Booster Course Pass and bringing the total to 96 courses. Racing runs at a locked 60 frames per second and feels tight and responsive. Anti-gravity sections flip tracks sideways, upside down, and vertical, making every course feel dynamic regardless of how many times you've run it. Items are classic chaotic fun: blue shells, bullet bills, red shells, the dreaded banana peel, and they keep races unpredictable right up to the finish line. The course variety spans everything from gentle countryside roads to underwater tunnels to zero-gravity space stations. Local multiplayer runs smoothly for up to 4 players. Online lobbies are still active. Metroid Prime Remastered is a rebuilt version of the 2002 GameCube classic, widely considered one of the greatest first-person games ever made, and the Switch version makes it feel genuinely current. You're Samus Aran, tracking space pirates to the planet Talon 4, and everything unfolds from inside her helmet. That perspective is used brilliantly. The visor fogs up in rain, reflects her face in explosions, and scanning enemies, ruins, and artifacts builds out a rich world history without a single cutscene spelling it out. Map design is a masterwork. Every area connects, every power-up gate feels deliberate, and backtracking is rewarding rather than annoying. The remaster brought significantly improved textures, lighting, and resolution, while keeping the gameplay completely intact. Dual-stick controls were added alongside the original control scheme. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is set on a world called Ionios, where 2 nations are locked in perpetual war, and soldiers on both sides are born with a 10-year lifespan, a glowing clock on their arm counting down. That's their entire world. The 6 protagonists, 3 from each nation, get thrown together under strange circumstances and start asking questions the system never wanted them to ask. The story goes hard on themes of mortality, purpose, and what it means to actually live rather than just follow orders. Combat fuses the best of XC1 and XC2. 6-character real-time battles, role-switching mid-fight, arts chaining into combos, and Ouroboros fusion forms that merge 2 characters into massive, powered-up states. The world is dense, with colonies to liberate, heroes to recruit, and side stories that actually hit emotionally. It's a long game that demands your attention, but it earns everything it asks for. Tears of the Kingdom brings Link back to Hyrule, but now there are floating sky islands above and shadowy underground depths below, tripling the scale of the world. 4 new abilities define everything. Ultra Hand lets you grab and connect objects to build vehicles and structures. Fuse lets you attach materials to weapons and arrows. Ascend lets you phase up through ceilings. Recall rewinds an object's movement through time. The game fills every inch of its world with problems that have no single correct solution. Players build bridges, flying machines, rockets, and catapults out of found parts. Shrines are physics and logic puzzles with dozens of valid approaches. The story is told through scattered memories and environmental lore, and it builds towards something genuinely epic. It's a game that rewards curiosity and creative thinking above everything else, and it delivers hundreds of hours without ever running out of things to discover. Breath of the Wild drops you on a plateau with almost nothing and says, go. Hyrule is massive, wild, and alive, full of shrines, enemy camps, ruins, and secrets that only reveal themselves when you go looking. The physics and elemental systems let you interact with everything in ways that feel natural but endlessly creative. Light wood on fire to create updrafts for your glider. Freeze water into climbable platforms. Use metal objects as lightning rods. Cooking meals with different ingredients creates specific buffs. Climbing any surface and gliding everywhere gives you genuine freedom of movement. The story involves 4 divine beasts and a showdown with Calamity Ganon, but the game barely pushes you toward any of it. You could walk straight to the final boss in the first hour. The genius is that it trusts you completely to find your own path. Every direction holds something worth finding. Super Mario Odyssey is a 3D platformer where Mario travels across wildly different kingdoms alongside Cappy, a living hat, to stop Bowser from forcing a wedding. The capture mechanic is the core of everything. Throw Cappy at enemies, creatures, or objects, and Mario possesses them. You become a T-Rex, a Bullet Bill, a taxi, a bolt of electricity, a stack of Goombas wearing a hat. Each one controls differently and opens up new ways to navigate each world. Power Moons are the main collectible, hidden absolutely everywhere, in obvious spots, tucked behind puzzles, buried in the environment, rewarded for doing something weird the game noticed you trying. The movement system is deep enough that skilled players have spent years finding new tricks in it. Each kingdom has a completely unique identity: a food-themed city, a haunted mansion, a seaside resort, a neon jazz metropolis. "15 games that prove the Switch earned its place as one of the best consoles ever made." Whatever kind of gamer you are, this library has you covered. Let me know your personal number one down in the comments. Thanks for watching.